The first record I thought about when I watched the film at the weekend, the first record I went to was this one, which is You're Under Arrest, because for me, that's what your movie is a bit like. That's like Miles's, he made that in 85, and that's a bit like a movie in itself, or bits of it, aren't they?
Yeah, well, definitely the arrest story that we're talking about is in there. And what he's dealing with personally in the film is in there, and his sort of relationship to the authority at that time, quote unquote, is definitely a part of it. And look at these songs on here, Human Nature. I mean, what's so interesting about this is many people that I've talked to who are younger don't know anything about Miles before this. You know, their sort of attachment to Miles is Time After Time, Human Nature, these covers that he famously did. And that was always an interesting thing to me, because people have such different points of connectivity with him, you know, and mine starts with So What, and, you know, kind of blew way back there. But I've met people who didn't know anything about him before, you know, Bitches Brew, because their take was rock. And that's how they kind of came into it. And Vince Wilburn, you know, co-produced this, who's Miles' nephew and very instrumental in being part of this movie. And
you've said that you didn't want to make, and you didn't make a straight up biopic. You've done something very different. You wanted to make a movie that kind of Miles himself would have dug, and Miles himself might have wanted to be in. And again, it relates a little bit to that record.
Absolutely. Well, you know, a lot of this is, I mean, look at him. This is Gangster. This is Gangster Miles.
Leather jacket, gun toting.
Gun toting.
Okay. Well, look, the next one is one that appears a lot in the movie. Someday My Prince Will Come, 1961, with a picture of Frances Taylor, his wife, who's so prominent in the film. And you talk about the film being modal, and this is his modal period. Explain what you mean by that.
Well, I think the construction of a quote-unquote biopic, if we're going to use that term, is often about a now and then perspective in its construction. The character in his present state of mind, and then the thing which gives it its ballast being some other time or other times. And our movie is constructed in that way, in that we don't specifically say when then is. We know now is the time that he's with Dave Braden, the reporter. But then is from the moment he met her until the moment Frances is running out of the house for her life. And so in just those two pieces for us was sort of the modality, this and that, now and then, just these two times that keep referring, the major note and the minor note, that keep referring and going back and forth until there's that collision in the third act when the times meet each other.
And there's such a romantic, beautiful element to the film. And that picture, I mean, it's just incredible, isn't it? The picture of Frances on the front of that.
Yeah.
You return to it a few times, and anyone who's got that record will know it just draws you in. She was a beautiful woman.
Yeah, and also, it also speaks about Miles' sort of authority over his own images and his own name and his ownership, that he was a force that, you know, was strong enough to get the record company to put her on the cover. You know, this is at a time when that was not something that the artist got to dictate. That was up to the art direction that the studio wanted. But Miles said, no, I want my woman on my album cover.